Alright. How many of you have watched the movie Animal House? Alright, so you remember the part when John Belushi is in his frat house and everyone's all down because they just got in trouble, and he says, when the tough gets going, the going gets tough. Well, my quote today is kind of like that. My quote by Robert Burns says, when the going gets tough, the smart get lost. First off, I'm going to have to disagree with that, for the simple fact that knowledgeable people can find their ways using their knowledge, or if you're smart enough, you can think for yourself and you don't need help and you won't get lost. And another reason is only dumb people get lost. Most people use knowledge to get places in their lives. For instance, all of us are in school right now. We're getting an education because we want to go somewhere. No matter where you want to go, you're getting there already. And it's a good start. And that kind of leads me to my second point. Since we're in school, we're obviously smart enough to think for ourselves, unless maybe your parents are making you come here, but it's not that big of a problem. It's probably better than sitting at home watching Animal House all day. Now, I like to say, when you think for yourself, you're an individual and you shouldn't need other people to tell you what to do, and so you can do what you want to do. And when you're doing what you want to do, that's not being lost. Being lost is when you don't know what you want to do and you're going nowhere, and then you're lost. And for my final point, only dumb people get lost, is because they have no idea what they're doing or where they want to go. Maybe not. Dumb people aren't always mentally dumb. They're people that are smart. Maybe not smart, but they're not individual thinkers, and they don't have their own set of mind to do whatever they want to do. They just want to fit in with the crowd. And so, in my opinion, that's being lost, is not having your own mind. And yeah.
Where'd you get a ticket? Yeah. Why? Not my choice, though.
I always
How many you got?
I bet your insurance is hitting close to the time.
Hopefully, but how many do you got?
All right, Ryan, I like the audience survey and kind of got that little callback response on the second part of the quote. That was a nice way to get us started. Good transition to the topic, and you've got a point of view. Your preview, you do have a preview, although I think some of the language kind of, because it's so similar, it runs together a little bit, although your third point was pretty distinct, because only the stupid people get lost. You know, that one I could follow pretty easily. I don't want to be accused of being stupid, so I'm not going to get lost in it. So it's organized pretty well, but I do think that the material kind of runs together when you start developing those points. You're making the idea clear, but you need some particular illustrations. It's always kind of at an abstract level. You don't get down to a concrete level, and I think that that would help give the presentation a little bit more power. On the delivery issues, you do drop your voice a little bit sometimes when you're uncertain, and occasionally when you're making a transition to the next idea. There's okay variety in your voice. I think it's paced about right. You've got the page in your hand. You kind of hold it in both hands, and so you don't do a lot of gesturing. And when you do gesture, it seems to be with both hands with that little piece of paper that you've got there. I did appreciate your taking off your hat to speak. Thank you for doing that. Your eye contact with the audience is inconsistent because you are looking down at that piece of paper pretty regularly. I thought your facial expressions were appropriate, and they went along with what you were talking about at times. You know, you don't have one of those, you know, gregarious, super outlandish ways of expressing yourself, but you do respond when people laugh. You do smile when you're making a point that people should take a particular way, and I thought you did that pretty effectively. At the end of the speech, it did seem like you were rushing the exit a little bit, and instead of coming back to the point that you were trying to get across, you just seemed to, it just seemed like you stopped. Now, you stopped, at least you didn't say, "That's all, folks," or some similar kind of point, but it did feel a little awkward, even though I thought you had a pretty solid structure earlier. All right, thank you.